Hello everyone, I am Neelam Choudhary and I'm back with a new project, Student Management, which includes a Crud Operations. Crud are basically create, read, update and delete. Okay, so before we start creating this project, let us have a look at this project. So whenever you will hit on the home page, what will happen? It will show the list of the students which are included in your database. Suppose you want to see the information of one particular student, you can click on view and you will see the information of that student. Suppose you want to edit, click on edit. You can edit. Suppose I want to change the branch from CE to ME, click on submit. Or print, the branch has changed now to ME. If you want to delete, you can click on delete. If you want to add new students, you can click on add student. Write the name, suppose Neelam, some surname Chaube, email ID, whatever, give some phone number, branch C, click on submit. Okay, C is for create, so we can create the data with the help of this link. Then read, with the help of this link, we can read the entire data or we can read one particular data as well. Update, so when you will click over here, you can update the particular data and delete as well. I want to find the information of the students who are in the CE branch. So I can write CE. So these are the list of the students who are in that particular branch. Suppose I'm looking for the student with the name Neelam. I will click on search. See, the Neelam is available. Suppose I give the branch as EXTC and click enter. There is no data. There is no particular students who is in that particular branch. Okay. So now if the project is clear, let us start creating that project. So before we jump into today's project, it is a humble request, if you are liking my channel and the projects that I am bringing in, kindly like and subscribe my channel as it will boost me to create many more projects on Django. Okay, so if you have subscribed, let us begin with today's topic. Suppose I want to create a project in this folder. I will open this folder with the help of the VS Code editor. Then open the terminal. Now you can create the project directly into your system by writing the command pip install Django, or you can create the virtual environment. It is better to create a virtual environment. Okay. So if you want to create a virtual environment, first of all, you should have a virtual wrapper within your system. If you don't have, you will install the virtual wrapper with the help of the command given over there. Now, if you have the virtual wrapper, let us create the virtual environment with the help of the command py mvnv, whatever name of the virtual environment you want to give. Suppose I give env. So this command will create the virtual environment. After the virtual environment has been created, we will activate the virtual environment, whatever name that you had given, scripts/activate. So it has activated the virtual environment. The next thing is what? To install Django in your virtual environment with the help of the command pip install Django. The spelling mistake I have done. Pip install Django. So this command will install Django. So after the Django has been installed, let us create the project with the help of the command Django admin start project. The name of the project, suppose I want to give crud space and a dot. Okay, so the project has been created. Now you are supposed to create the application with the help of the command py manage.py start app. The name of the app we can give is student manage. Okay, so this will create your application. Next step is what? Within your project, go in the settings.py file and include your application with the, what is the name of the application? Student manage. Okay, so you have included your application. Next thing is what? In the urls.py file, we will include the URL. Since this project will have multiple URLs, I will include all the routes directly within the application. So over here, I am supposed to write path, include. What is the name of your application? Student manage dot URLs. So I will have to create this particular URL file. Will create, before that include. Okay. Now let us create this file which we are specifying it over here. So you will go in student manage. You will create urls.py file. In that file, you will write. You can remove this. It is not needed. And then we will give the path. Whenever the user is going to hit, okay, on the root page, it should call the function. We will show the list of the students on the first page. So let us call this function as list student and name is equal to home. Okay. From the current directory, import news. Okay. So now I will have to create this function which I am specifying it over here. So go in the views.py file and write def, the same function name that you have specified in the URL. You will write it over here. You will write request. Whatever name of the object you want, you can give it. Normally we write this only. Then request render. Suppose it is going to render a HTML file. So list student.html file. So I will have to create this file. So what we will do, I will create the file within the application itself. So within the application, create a folder named templates. And in that, let me create another folder, Crud. And in that, let me create this HTML file. Let me student.html. Okay. And here I will have to specify inside the Crud, we have list student. So I will have to create this list student. So what you can do, we can make the use of the bootstrap. So we can go to the bootstrap page, click on docs, take the boilerplate from here, this one, copy this link and paste it over here and save it. Okay. So let us see so far what is happening, whether it is working or not. So you should run the server pymanage.py, run server and check the output. You should run this command from the path where you have a manage.py file. Okay. So now let us come over here. Let me refresh. See, hello world. So what is happening? Whenever you will hit that particular URL, it will first come within the project. It will check your urls.py file. Over here, we are specifying whenever somebody is going to click on the root page, kindly go to this particular URL. In student manage, there is a urls.py file. So it will go in this application. It will go in the urls.py file and it will check on the root page which function is available. List student. So it will go in the views.py file. It will see, okay, list student is doing what? It is rendering the HTML file. So it will go to the HTML file and whatever is there in the HTML file, you will see it on the browser. See, okay. So whenever we are on this page, we want to see the navigation bar. So what we can do, we can make the use of the template inheritance, because whether we want to see the list of all the students or when we want to add the students, everywhere I want to see what navigation bar. Okay. So instead of repeating what we are doing again and again, we will create a base.html file. If you don't know what is template inheritance, you can go through my previous tutorial. Although over here also I will cover it. So I'm creating a base.html file. I will copy the entire code and I will place it in the base.html. Okay. And over here, what I want to see the navigation bar. So for the time being, instead of rendering the list student, I will render the base.html. Okay. So now it is rendering the base.html, and in the base.html, I will include the entire code that we want to write. Okay. So over here, instead of saying the hello world, I want to show the navigation bar. Now, if I will include the navigation bar within my base.html file, my base.html file will become very long. It will not be a clean code as well. So what I will do, instead of including within the base.html, for that also I will create another file, navbar.html. And what I will do, I will write the code of the navigation bar in this particular HTML, and whatever code I am writing over here, I want to include in the base. So how do we include? We write include tag. Okay. And which file I want to include? Within the CRUD folder, we have a navbar.html file. Kindly include that. So when it will render the base.html, it will see, okay, whatever is written in this file, kindly include that one over here. Okay. So let us write the code for the navigation bar. So we will make the use of the bootstrap. So write navbar. You will get the code for the navigation bar. Suppose I want to use this one. I will copy the code. I will paste it over here. See, if your file is not been saved, how you can see? Can you see a white dot over here? Means this file is not saved. Okay. So now let us come and see. See, I can see the navigation bar over here now. Now instead of navbar, what I want the name of my application, that is student management. Okay. I will save it, run it, student management. Then in the first point, what I want to see the all students data. So I will write all students, save the file, all students. Then in the next one, I want to add the students. So I can write add students. And I don't need this pricing and the disabled. So I'll remove that code. And I want the search box. So again, come over here in any navigation bar. Yeah, over here I can see the search box. So find out the code for that search box. This is a code. So I'll come over here. I will paste the code. Let me refresh it. See, I can see the code. So over here they have given BTN outline. So I'll remove this outline. So this button will be green all the time. Okay. Now what I want to do, I want to give the color to this navigation bar. Come over here and even write. See. So you can see it is now black and these things are in white in color. Okay. Now let us change the font as well. Suppose you want to increase the size of the student management. So the class is navigation bar. So you can copy from here and let us create the static file as well. We will be creating within the application itself. So static. Within the static, let us create another folder for CSS. And within the CSS, include the style.css file. Okay. And for this class, let us have the font size 20 pixels. Okay. Let us see. Okay. I have to include this in the base.html. We have not included. So let us include over here with the help of the link tag. How you will give with the help of the static tags. What you will give? So within the static, what is a folder? CSS, and in that we have style.css. So we will write within the CSS, you have a style.css. Kindly include that. Okay. So we will include your static file. And whenever we are including a static file within the Django, we should always write load static. Okay. So now let us see if it is working. See, to change the font size of this also. So what we will do, so we will write of this particular class dot this, and we have nav link. Let us remove this active. This is not needed. We'll come over here. This, change the font size to 16 pixels. Save it and let us see. Let us change this to 25 pixels and this to 20 pixels. And let us run, refresh it. Let us change it to, let us make us 40 and see. This is not affecting. Base.html, CSS में we have style.css. So when sometimes it may happen, you may not be able to see the changes. So what you will do is stop the server. Even if it is not working after the hard refresh, stop the server, run the server again, and then see, you can see the changes are reflecting. Okay. So now what we want to do, we want to add some space in between this. So you can go to the navigation bar and you can add the space after the over here. Okay. Style, we can use the inline CSS as well. Padding to the right. Suppose we want to give 240 pixels. Let us see. Okay. 240 pixels. Let us reduce it to 200. And let us see now. Okay, this is fine. And also we want the search box to the extreme left. So we will come over here and do. I have done a mistake over here. This form tag will come after the div tag. Okay. Let me refresh it. Okay, it will come in the end automatically. Okay. Now what we will do, what we want to do, whenever somebody is going to click on this particular URL, we want to show the list of all the students on this particular page. So first of all, we should have a database where we will store the information of this particular student. So now we will create a database. Where do we create a data? We will create in the models.py file. So come over here, check your models.py file. Let me minimize everything over here. Okay. Now what should be the field of your model? First of all, you have to decide that. Like we are going to show the name, the first name, last name, phone number, email ID, date of birth, whatever you need, you will add in that particular model. Okay. So let us create our model first. So how do we create a model? We will write class, whatever name of the model you want. Since it is related to students, I will write student. Then models.model. First field that I want is the name field. And I will write models dot char field, which is having the maximum length 30. It is important to give the maximum length in the model. Next field is suppose the last name field. Models dot char field, maximum length again 30. Then suppose email is equal to models dot email field. Here it is not necessary to specify the maximum length. Then we can have phone is equal to models dot, we can have it as an integer field or positive integer field. So let me keep this as positive integer field. Okay, this one. Then let me have the branch as well. And this branch I want to be a select choice, okay, where the already we will define certain branch and the user can select from that particular branch only. Okay, so we will write models dot care field. Okay, maximum length you have to specify in the care field. Choices, with the help of the choices we will give the selection field, and since the choices are going to remain constant, you can write choices. Okay, and now I will have to create the list of these choices. I will come over here and I will write choices is equal to, in the list we can include the tuple. The first would be suppose CE, comma CE. Then let us write in capital, so whenever they will select it will always come in capital. Then we can write EXTC, comma EXTC. Then I can write mechanical, comma mechanical. Then I can write AI, comma AI. Oh, by mistake it became air. Then let us write IT. And whichever field you want, you can include. Okay. So what I am saying, whenever somebody is coming on the branch, okay, he will get the options to choose from this particular field. Okay. We'll see over here the first, we can write option 1, option 2, option 3, 4 and 5. And we can write the values over here. These are the field and this will be the values of that particular field. But what we will do, we will keep it same for the simplicity. Okay. Now save it. And whenever we create a model, it will not be created. Whenever we create a model, the table will not be created in your database until and unless you run two commands, that is py manage.py make migrations and py manage.py migrate. So let us run those commands as well. So I will come over here. So before that, let me just show you how I'm writing this particular fields. Okay, so if you don't know what are the fields, you can always refer Django documentation, Django documentations. Okay. Over here, you can write models. Okay, click on models. Then scroll down. Model field reference. And here you can see what are the different fields. Big field, big integer big field, binary field, char field. Here you can see the maximum length is compulsory. So like this with date field and all the fields you can see over here. So which fields you want, you can come over here, you can study about these fields. Okay. So now let us create the table with the help of the command py manage.py make migrations. This will create the SQL query. Now we want to execute the query. So we will run the command py manage.py migrate. So this will execute this query. Okay. So your table is now created in your database, but you cannot see that table in your database until and unless you register your model. Okay. So let us register the model. Before that, see, whenever you create a class and we create an object of that particular class, when we call the object, what we can see the memory location. But if you don't want to see the memory location, you want to represent that object nicely, what we used to do in Python, we used to create the string function. So over here also we can define that string function. If you want to create, you can do it. It will be better. If you don't do it, it is fine. It is not going to create any errors in your program. It is just an added functionality that we are adding. Okay. Return self.name. Just the functionality. So when the object of this particular class is called, instead of memory location, what I will see now, I will see the name of that particular object. Okay. It is totally optional. So now let me register this model. So when I will go in the admin panel, I will be able to see the table. Okay. So that is why we register our model. The different ways to register, I'm going to use the decorator method, admin.register. What is the name of the model? First, let me import that model from current directory, file models, input student. Okay. And now we write student. And then let us create a class. Whatever name of the class you want, you can give it. Normally, the object name and admin, we write the name of the model and the admin. Okay. But whatever you want, you can give it. Admin, model admin, then list, display. So like this way, what you can do, you can write down first name, last name, email, phone, and the branch. Okay. Right now, how many fields we are having in the models? Only 5 fields. So we can specify each and every field. Suppose we are having 20 fields. So writing all those fields will become very difficult. So what we can do, instead of this, I list comprehension for fields in student dot underscore meta dot get fields, and over here we have specified fields. So fields dot name, whatever name of the variable you have given. Okay, save it. What happened? Okay, so you will write this meta. Okay, now let us come over here. Now to see this particular table, we should create what? Super user. With the help of the command py manage.py, create super user. Now give the name to the super user. Suppose I will give Neelam. Email address, any email address you can give. Now password, when you will type the password, you will not be able to see. So just type it and click enter. Yes. And now let us run the server and check in the admin panel. How do we run the server? With the help of the command py manage.py run server. Okay. Let me go to the admin panel with the same username that you have given over there. Okay. If you forgot the username, you don't have to worry. You can again create a super user. So this student.objects.all will fetch your entire data from the database and it will place in object student. So let us pass this to the, we are supposed to create another HTML file now, list of student. Okay. In that we will pass, the data always has to be passed in the form of a dictionary. So let us write the key as student, and this is a key, and the value, this will be passed as value. Okay. So now this list student.html. Now we are not going to write the navigation bar and the base.html again. What we will do in the base.html, we can write certain code and that code will replace depending upon which file we are executing. Okay. So now we are not going to write the entire code again. So what we'll do in the base.html, whatever code can change, what we do, we write in the block content. Block, write the name of that block, whatever name you want to give. Suppose I give content. Okay. So what I'm saying, whenever it will render base.html, this content can change. Okay. And whatever you want, you can include in that particular content. So let me write this over here. First of all, let us extend the file. Within the CRUD, we have a base.html. Means whenever this be now what we are seeing, whenever this function will be called, it will call this HTML file, and this HTML file will include all the code of base.html. But inside this code, what will happen, whatever we will write, that will be included. So now what we want to do, what we want to show within this content, the list of all the students. So we will come over here. With the help of the key, we can access the value. So how do we write? We write in double curly braces. The key is student. So let us see the output. See, it is showing me one object. If you want to see how it is, how we get the object, let us add more data. Then it will be easy for me to show. So let me include one more data over here. Neelam Choudhary, whatever you want to write. Save it. Okay, now we have two data. Let us go on the home page. See, I'm having the first object and the second object. If you want to see this properly, come over here, write values, and again refresh it. See, so you can see the data is passed in the form of a list. And with the list, the first data is in the form of dictionary. See, for the first data, ID is 1, first name is Prem, last name is Chaube, email is prem@phone and branch. Similarly, for the second data, again, it is in the form of a dictionary, ID, first name, last name. Okay. So we are passing the data in the form of a list. So if you want to access the first data, the next data, and the next data, what we will do? We will apply a for loop. Okay. So when we'll apply the for loop, first time it will access this data. Now what I want to do, within this data, I want to see the ID, then the first name, then the last name, then the email. Means within the list, I have a dictionary. From that dictionary, I want to access the keys. So how we can do it? Let me show it to you. So now what I'm saying, that when we will apply a for loop for pi in the key student, what will happen? It will go to the first item in the list, because student is nothing but a list. Okay. So it will go to the first item, and then first item is nothing but this entire dictionary. Now we want to show one. How do we access a value within a dictionary? With the help of the key. So I can write I.id. This will give me what? ID, that is 1. If I want to access a first name, I will write I.fname. This will give me the first name. Then similarly, last name, email, phone, and the branch I can write. Then in the next loop, what will happen? The I will become the next item within the list. That is nothing but this dictionary. In this dictionary, again, it will access ID. which is true. Again the first name, that is Neelam, then the last name and this. So this is how we are going to apply the for loop. So let us come over here and try to apply the for loop. Let me remove this value. It was just to show you how it will get displayed. So now let us come over here, and instead of student, what I will do, I will apply a for loop. So this is how we write a for loop in Django. So for st in the key that you have passed, student. If you don't remember the key, copy from here, paste it. What we want to see, we will want to see st dot the id, then st dot, you will take it from this particular model, first name, fields. The fields will come from the model only, okay? Then st dot email field we have, then st dot the phone, then mistake, what mistake we have done, let me write in the new line so that if you do any mistake we can see it, okay? Then st dot branch we have, and the phone number, okay? Everything is over here, and let me give the dr tag over here. Let me refresh it. See, the first detail and the second detail I can see. Now I don't want to email field, maybe I have done some mistake. Yes. Okay. So you can see the first field and then the next field. Now we want to show this with the help of the table. Okay. So how to create a table? If you don't know, go to the Bootstrap, write table, copy the code. For time being, let me comment this. Okay, let me comment this entire for loop. Let me create a normal table first, and then we will convert this into dynamic table. Okay. So this is a table. Let me put this table within the container div tag. Or let me do one thing. Within the base.html only, I will have the container. Okay. And this block will come inside this container. You have to format the document and save this file. And let us see. Yeah. And what else I want? Suppose I want to give some coloring. Let us come over here. Let me give some colors as well. Like this way I can do it. This one. Okay. So this is a class. I will copy this class. And then I will give the class over here. See, it is giving me the colors. Okay. Now what I want to do, I want to make this table as dynamic. I don't want this data. I want the data which is coming from the backend. So first let me see what headings I need. I need what? ID. So let me give ID over here. Then I need the first name. I want to see the last name in the row, and then the email ID. Then we need one more table heading. Over here we want to include the phone number. Then one more row we need for the branch. Yes, this is a heading. ID, first name, last name, phone, and the branch. Let me close the files that are not needed anymore. I need the models file, so I'll open it again. I don't need style. Okay, let me refresh it. So ID, first name, last name, email ID, phone, branch, and one more field we will need for the action. Okay, one more heading for the action where we are going to have the view, delete, and the update button. Okay, Now for this row, let us have the data. Now we want to have the data. We will remove these rows. We will have only one row for us because the data of this row will change dynamically with the help of the for loop. The first for loop will give the ID, first name, last name, email, phone, branch. The next for loop again will give the ID, first name, last name, email, phone number and the branch. Okay. Previously we have seen how we can apply the for loop. So what I want to do in the first row, for the first time, I want to show the data of the first object, then the data of the next object. Means this row I will have to use a for loop. So in this row, I will use a for loop. Starting of the for loop, and after this row, we will end the for loop. Okay, and the data will be rendered automatically. Means over here, if you will see, so if you'll see over here, I was rendering the first name, last name, email. But now this I want to render within what row? I don't want to render as it is. So in this row, what I will do, I'll paste over here, and instead of this, I will write ID. Instead of this, I want to show the last name. Here I want to show the email, like this way. Okay. I want for the branch and this branch. Okay. Let us go back. Let us remove this. We can remove this as well. Okay. So for st in the key student, what will happen? So let us see. Yes, I can see the first object and the next one. Now in the actions, I want to show 3 buttons. One is for the view, one is for the delete, and one is for the update. So let us work on the view button. Okay, we can create a view button. If you don't know how to create a button, you can come over here, write down the code button, copy from here. Okay, this code, and in TD tag, what we want 3 buttons. Okay, the first thing that I want is a view button. So let us see view button. I want this to be small, so we can write btn primary, and then we can write btn small. So this will make your button small. btn cell. Okay, so button is small. Similarly, for time being, let me add the 3 buttons. See, I will show you the different methods. Okay, one will be the button, one with the help of the anchor tag, and one with the help of the form. So for time being, let me write what this is for view, this is for update, and this is for delete. We will change the logic and the type of button as well, but for time being, let it be like this way. So it is view, update, and delete. So if you have seen my project, what I have used the icon as well. Okay, suppose you want to show the icon over here, so we can make the use of the font awesome CDN link. You first copy from here, just copy the CDN link and paste it in your base.url. Okay, they have not provided the link tag, so write a link tag, and within the link tag paste that URL inside the href. So now if you'll come over here, let me have the icons as well. Font awesome icons. Okay, we'll go for the free icons. For the information button, we can make the use of, let us write information. This I can use it, or whichever is this way, it is free. Wherever it is written pro, it is not for free. Okay, so let us use this one only. When you will click, you will see the code, copy the snippet. Okay, then over here, what I want to do, this view, before that I want to tap that icon. Okay, before the name view, let us come over here. See, I can see the icon over here. Now, whenever I will click on view, what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to show the information of this student. Okay, one particular. Okay, now to show that data, either we can go to the new URL and render the HTML page like we do normally. Okay, or we can make the use of the model. Okay, like see, I'm already covering that thing in the update. When we'll click on update, it will take you to the new URL. It will render an HTML page, and then we will see the form. Okay, so since it is already covered in update, let me show this with the help of the model, because most of the learners have the query how we can use a model within our project. Okay, so that is why I'm making the use of the model. So if you want to use a model, you will come over here and you will write model. Okay, you will get the code from here. You can read down the entire thing. We don't need this tab, so let me close those tabs. So for the model, which model we want? We want the button. Whenever somebody click on that particular button, the model should pop up. Okay, so that is why I will copy this code over here. After the button, we will paste the code. It is for the model student list. Okay, and after that, let me paste the code. Now what this model is saying, whenever somebody will click on this button, this model will pop up. Okay, so how do we know when we click on this button, this model only will pop up? With the help of the ID that we are giving it over here. Okay, so what we will do in our button, we will add this two things and we will paste it over here. And now we will remove this button. Okay, so whenever somebody is going to click on this button, this model will get called. So what I can do, I can change the ID. Let me give, since it is view, let me write view model. Let me give like this way. Okay, over here again you will have to give for which one we are giving it, and over here again the ID will change. Now let me format this, and whatever ID we have given it over here, the same ID we'll have to give it over here in the ID. Okay, now let me change this ID as well. Now whatever title you want to give, so what we want to give the title, we want to give the title with the student name. Okay, we will give it, let me write student, whatever title we want to give. So we want to give student, and then suppose I want to show the first name and the last name of the student along with the title. So I will copy this code, first name I will show, then the last name. So copy this code as well and paste it over here. Okay, so this is what I want to show in the title. Then we will change the data also. So let us see till here if it is working or not. All students, first of all go in the navigation bar. Whenever somebody is going to click on the all students, it should come to the home page. Okay, click on all students, yes. So when I will click on view, see I can see the pop-up student and the name of the student. I want the space as well. Let me give the space between these two. Let us see, refresh it, then let us see. See, I can see student name, and then I want to see the data. Okay, so data will come in the body. How do you want to show the data? In the form of the list or whatever you can do. Suppose I will show it in the form of the list. Okay, then li tag in the first, what I will show the student name ID. So Let me use a strong tag. Here I will show the student name. So let me write student. First we will show the ID. Then what we will show? The student ID. How we will render student ID? With the help of this. So this will do what? The first item would be what? Student ID and the value. Again, what I want to do, similarly, I want to do for the first name. So here it will be student first name, or you can write first name as well. Then here it should render F name. So let us see the output once. See, if you want to remove these dots, we can remove the dots as well by giving the style in this style list style type none. Okay, but I will let the dots be, it is looking nice. So similarly I will do for the others as well. So here I have done this changes. Let us see the output. Refresh the screen once. See student ID, first name, last name, ID, phone number and branch. We can see it over here. Okay, over here we have finished the read operations. We can read the entire data from the database, or if we want to see a particular data, we can see that data as well. Since we are not doing any changes over here, we don't need a save changes button. So let us come over here and remove this button, save changes. Instead of this, let me give the blue color to this primary. Okay, so now it will be in the blue color. Okay, so this is looking nice now. So now let us go for the update button. In the update button, what is going to happen? Whenever I will click on this update, the form should open up, and in that form all the data of this particular person should already be there in the form. Okay, so I know I need a form, so I will have to create a form. With the help of the model we will create, because the data which we require in the form is similar to data which is there in your model. That is why we will be going for the model form. Okay, so for that, what we are supposed to do, first you will go within your application and create a file name forms.py. Okay, the name of the file has to be forms.py only. So let us start. So in this file we will write from Django import, then this will be from the model. So from dot models we will import the name of the model that we have given. What we have given the name of the model? Let us see, student. Okay, so you will write student over here. From student we will write class. Whatever name of the form you want, you can give it. Since it will have the student information, I can write student info form, whatever you want. Then it will be forms.model form, because I will be creating from that particular model. Okay, so we write class meta, then model that you are going to use is what? Student. Fields that we need, we want to show all the fields, so we can write all. Then if you want to change the labels, we will have to change the labels. Okay, so what we have done over here, we have changed the labels, if you can see, because in the models we have given F name, N name, email, phone and the branch. When we will see it in the form, if you will not change, it will become capital F name, capital N name, capital E and mail, capital P and capital B. Okay, so this 4 I want to change it. I want to show it as a first name, last name, email ID and phone number. Okay, so this is how the labels will change. Now what I want to do, whenever I am creating a form, I want to apply the bootstrap. Okay, we will apply a bootstrap class, and whenever you want to add a class in the model form, what we do, we write it like this way. Let us see. We write widgets. It is giving me the suggestion. See, for F name I will give forms.text input, attr is form control. Okay, this is a class, bootstrap class, that will apply for this field. Similarly for L name also I am applying, email also apply, phone also I am applying. For the branch, what I will do, I want the branch in the form of what? The selection. So let me write the code for that as well. It will be for the branch. Again, we will write forms.select, say, because I want in the form of select field. So if you don't know what to apply for which one, what you can do, always go to the Django documentation, and over there in the forms field, you can see what are the different fields for the form as well. Okay. So let me close this and save it. Okay, so the form has been created. Now what I want to do, I want to show this form in your views.py file. So let us go over there. I don't need this, close this tab. Okay, so let us come over here. Let us give the path. So whenever somebody is going to click on update, it should take to the views.update student name. Let me give update only. So whenever somebody is going to click on that link, it will take you to the update student and the name update. Okay, so let me create this function. Whatever name you have given, same name you are supposed to give over here. Okay, so def update student request, and what it will do, it will show the form. Okay, so if you remember, whenever we update, okay, we want to show the data on the form. There are always two type of request. One is get request. Whenever we are going to hit the form for the first time, it will be a get request. And when we will fill the data in that form and click on the save button, it will be a post request. Okay, so we have to handle both of that. So let me first write for the get request. So when we will hit the this particular URL for the first time, we should get a form, and that form will what have? It will have the data. Okay, so let me write student is equal to from student dot objects dot. I don't want all the data. I want the data of a particular ID that I will pass. Okay, see what is happening when I click on this student update, the form will appear and it will have the data of this student. Okay, if I click over here again, it will open the form, but now that form should have the data of the student. Okay, so we will specify by passing the ID of that particular entry. How do we get, why I am taking ID only? Because ID is a primary key. It will be unique to that particular row. Okay, so let us come over here and go in the list to student and scroll up. Where is the update button? Here. So here we will do the changes. So what I will do it over here for the update, instead of using the button tag which we have already seen, now let me show you, we can create with the help of the anchor tag as well. There are different ways to create. Okay, so href, whenever somebody is going to click over here, the name is what? Update. Then we'll change the style later on. It should take you to which page? To the URL. That is what URL we have created. Update student. The name we have given is update. Okay. So when we give the href like this way with the help of the URL tag, over here we give the name. So for this link, what name is there? Update. So I will come over here, I will write update, and along with that I will have to pass the ID as well, student.id, st.id. Yes, because which data I want to see. So I am passing it over here. So now this ID, we are passing it over here. So similarly in the URL also we will have to accept that ID. So come over here. Okay, so it is in the form. So since we know the data that we are passing is in the form of integer, I am writing over here integer and it is taking ID. In the function of what I will have to do, I will have to accept that particular ID. So come over here and over here you accept that ID, and then get the from student.objects. We don't want all the data. We want the data of only that student whose ID, whose primary key is equal to ID. So I can write whose primary key is equal to this ID that we have passed. Okay. Show it. So after you have fetched this data, what we want to do, we want to show the form with this field data. So we will create the object of the form. FM is equal to student. What was the name of the form that we have created? Student info form. So first let us import that form from dot forms import. So let us create the object of that form now. And the form will not be an empty form. It will be equal to this. It will have the data of this particular object. Okay. And then update, we will pass it into the update.html in the of a dictionary. So let form is equal to what is the object that I want to pass, FM. Save it. Let us create that over here, update.html. Okay. So now first we will extend the base.html. Within the Crud, we have base.html, extend that particular thing. Then within the block content, what the name we have given, I think so we have given content 1. Okay. In that we will create a form now. In the previous if you don't know how to style the errors in detail, I have already created a tutorial based on that. So you can go through my previous tutorial as well. So let us create a form over here. Form, first of all, we will be needing a form tag. So the action, let us keep it same. For the action, we will keep it as it is so that the same function will be called again. And the method will be now post method. We don't want the browser validation. So we will write no validate. So browser validation will be off. Okay. Then we are supposed to write the CSRF token in Django. Otherwise it gives an error. Okay. CSRF. Okay. Then what we will do, we have to show the form. Now we will show the form. Okay. One by one we will show all the fields. Okay. And we want to handle the errors as well. There will be a non-fill error. For the non-fill error, we will say if there is a non-fill errors. I am writing over here form because we have passed in the key that is form. Okay. So in the form, if there is a non-fill errors, what we will do, we will display the non-fill errors. For error in forms.nonfill errors with the help of the within the span tag we will do it. Why I am writing in the span tag and everything, if you don't know, kindly go through my previous tutorial. Okay. And we will show that error. So what is happening over here, if there is non-fill errors, then we want to show one by one all the non-fill errors. That is why I have applied a for loop. It will first show the first error, then the next error, then the next error. Okay. And over here, I can give the class error style. Whatever you want to give, you can give it. And for this error style, I will give the styling after a few times, after some time. So this is for, so I will end this for loop. And for the if, I have to end this if loop, and if. Okay. This is the end of this for loop. This is the end of this if loop. Now I want to show the form also. To show the form, what we write, for field in form. Okay. It will show each and every field. I want to show the first field. The field dot label tag. Then it will show the label. Then it will show the field. And inside that, in the div tag, I will show the field errors. If you're not able to understand, I will explain everything. Don't worry. First, let me write down the code. What this page is doing, it is showing you the form. Okay, and when we submit this form, the action is blank, means same function will be hit again, but this time the method will be post. Okay, and what this form is doing, for the non-filled error, it will check. If there is a non-filled errors, it will show all the errors one by one. Okay, so for non-filled errors, first error it will show, then the next error, then the next error. Okay, I have to give the styling as well. Then what it has to show, it has to show the label and the value of that input box label and the input box label. So for that, what I am doing, for field in form, so it will show us the first field. Then over here, it will go to the first field in the form. So suppose the first field is what, your name, F name, na? So it will show the label of that field, that is F name, colon, then it will show the field. Then for that field, if there is any error or error in field.errors, okay, if there is any error, show the error one by one. Again, we are showing it one by one. So it will show the error. That error comes with the tag. We wanted to remove the tag. So we are removing the tags with the help of this filter function, and we'll apply the class also. I have to give the CSS styling. Then what will happen after that? Again, it will come down. How many errors? All the errors it will display. Then again it will come over here. Then again the next field. What is the next field? Name. It will show the label of the next field, the input box of the next field. If any error is there related to this field, it will show those errors. Again it will go, then the next table. This is how it is working. Now there are few things that is remaining. When we click on the form, submit the form, it should get displayed. So I have not written a button. So let us include the button for that as well. Type is what? Submit. Then since I want to show it in the form of button, class will be btn. Suppose I give the green color, success. Okay. When I click on update, so it will show the form. Say first name, last name, email ID, phone number, and the branch. Everything it is showing. I want some spacing from the top and this button also. So for this button, what spacing I should give? From the top, I want 3. Let me refresh it. Okay, so from the top, I'm getting 3. Now I want the space over here as well. So for that, what I will do, I will put this form in the div tag. Let me create a, have I created, let me see a base.html. So we have created a container. So over here, I will create first row, div.row. Okay. And this form will come inside this div tag. Then let us create a and this will close it over here. We will give some columns. Okay. Class is equal to column. Suppose it occupies only 6 columns. Okay. In a container, we have total 12 grids. Out of 12 grids, I want to occupy only 6 grids. And in that grid also, save this file. Let us come over here. So it will occupy only 6 grids. But I want this in the center. So what I can do, I can apply some offset of suppose 3 I will apply. Let us see. See, it is coming in the center. So what I have said, after instead of 12 grids, this whole container is divided into 12 grids, 12 boxes. Okay. And from this 12 boxes, I want to use only the 6 boxes. And I don't want to use from the starting. I want to start from the middle. So how much I want the spacing from the left? So I have written over here that from here give 3 spacing and then occupy the 6 columns. Okay. Form is being created. First name, last name. Suppose from the top also let us give some margin. From the top let us keep us 3. Okay. See. So now when we click on update, it will show this particular form to you. Okay. And when I do the changes and when I click on submit, what should happen? Again, it should come to the all students and the changes should get reflected. Okay. You click on the submit button. What will happen again? Since we have not specified, the same function will be called again. So go in the views.py file and let us handle the post request. If it is a post request, then what we will do, we'll specify it over here. Okay. So right over here, if request dot method is post. If it is a post method, then the data that you are getting, student dot objects dot get, okay, whatever data we are getting it from the backend, take the data and the student registration form instance student, and if it is valid, let me first write the code where will explain you what I am writing. Valid, then we will directly save, and suppose we want to return HTTP response redirect to the, suppose we want to go on the home page. Okay, if it is this, else whatever we have written earlier, that thing should happen. Okay, I've written this HTTP response will have to import. Okay, so I have imported this HTTP response redirect. So now what is happening over here? Suppose I take this data and change the branch of this particular student, and when I click on submit, again the same function will be called. Okay, so again it will hit the same URL, the same function will be called, but this time the method would be post, because I'm saying whenever I'm submitting the form, it is a post method. So what is happening over here? So first it is getting the data. Suppose there are 1, 2, 3, 4 students. Okay, ID of that students. So first when we hit on this, we will pass the ID. Suppose the ID is 1. So it will take the data from the database of that row wherever is ID 1. So it will take this particular data. Then it will take the data from the form. It will check that particular data is valid or not. If it is valid, save it where? Same row 1. Okay, with the help of this we are writing. So it will save it in that particular row, and then it will take you to the home page. Okay, so this is what I have written over here. And if it is a get request, we have already summarized what is happening. So when I click on this update, the update function is getting called. Whenever we hit the URL for the first time, it is always a get request. So it will see it is a post request. No, it will come over here. It will get the object of that particular row. And after that, it will show the form with the filled data of that particular object. See, so I'm getting the form with the filled data. And when I click on the submit button, okay, what is happening? Again, the same function is getting called, but this time the method would be post. So it will get that particular row. It will get the information, it will get the form data also. First, it will check whether the data is valid. If it is valid, go in that particular row on that particular student and save the data. Okay, and then it will return to where? It will return to your home page. So that is why it's returning to the home page. Okay, so this is update functionality. I hope this is clear. Now let us change this button also. So we will go in the list. Let us make us a button. So let us give us a class. And we want the green. Let me give warning. See, this is fine. This also make us small. So to make it small, we write BTN SL. So now this will be small. Okay. And now suppose you want to add the icon. So go to the awesome font, awesome icons. This is for update. So for the update, we can go for the icon like let me use this one. Copy the code. Come over here. Where is the anchor tag? So next to the update, it is before. So before update, apply this class. Okay. Let us come over here. Let me refresh it. See update. So now we have to work on the logic of delete button. When I click on this delete, that particular row should get deleted from your database. Again, we can show with the help of the URL, or we can show with the help of the model. I'm going for the model approach because most of the learners have doubt how we can show it with the help of the model. So for that, what we will do, again, we can copy this logic, and in this button, let me write model for delete button. Okay, let me write over here. So again, in this button, I know I will have to give the ID and the target. So I'll cut and I will paste it over here in the delete button. I will remove this code, format this document. Okay, and let us give class. So since it is going to delete the button, let me give delete model. Again, we will have to pass the ID. So when we click on this button, the model with this ID should get called. So the same ID that you have given it over here, you will give it over here. Okay, here also let us change the ID. This is, instead of example, let us write delete. Okay, and again the student ID, and same ID will come over here. What we want to show on the title, what we will show title, let us write confirmation for delete, or whatever title you want you can write. Okay, so whether we want to delete or not. And in the model, what we will show the whatever in the body what you want to show. Suppose I want to show the paragraph, are you sure you want to delete the student? You can give the name of the students as well, which we have seen in the views. Okay, and we will just close the button and let the button color be, instead of secondary, no means it will be a red color. Okay, so let us give the button red color with the help of danger. If it is yes, okay, we have to save the changes. What will happen, we will call this particular URL. Now that URL we can call with the help of the anchor tag, which we have already seen in the update button. But here we will show it with the help of the form. Okay, whenever we are sending the data and that data should not be seen in the URL, we make the use of the form. Okay, so that is why I'm showing you the form. You can go for either approach, but whenever we are doing any changes in the database, remember it should always be a post method. That is why I'm showing the form. See, this is the logic. So form, action, when I see form, here the action I have specified. Over here I will have to specify the action because I don't want to hit the same URL. I want to hit the delete URL. Okay, so this URL will be called, and again with that I will pass the ID because we should know which particular data we have to delete, and the method will be post method. Okay, the CSRF token input type is submit, value that I am given is button, delete, and btn primary. This is this. Okay, so now I will have to create this URL as well. So go in the URLs, let us create that URL, path, delete. The data we are passing is in the form of integer, and this function will have to create. So go in the views, let us create this function def request, and we'll accept the ID also because we are passing that ID. Check if the request.method is post. If the request.method is post, get the object, that particular object, and simply delete the object and then return to the home page. So let us see if it is working or not. Then again we'll see. See, when I click on delete, if I will click on no, it should not get deleted. No, it is not getting deleted. If I click on delete, yes, it is getting deleted. So instead of delete, I should write what? Yes. value will be yes. Okay. See, if it is yes, it will delete that data. Okay. So what is happening over here? Let me show you. So when I click on this button and this button, when I click on this button will call this model because I had given the ID, and this model will do what? It will show a pop-up where we will ask whether you want to delete the student. If we click yes, okay, then what will happen? It will call a URL. If it is no, it will just close a pop-up. So if we say yes, which URL will hit? Delete. So it will call this particular URL where we will pass the student ID as well, because we want to know which data we want to delete. Then this function will be called. It will check if it is a post method. If it is that method, get the data and delete just that data and then return to the home page. Okay. So now we have seen the delete function as well. Now we have to work on this logic add students. So let us go to the URL. Okay. Let us create a function for adding the student. Let me write add. We don't need an ID over here. This add student. Let me give the name as add. Okay. So this URL we will write in the navigation bar as well. So whenever it is add student, presses %, you will write URL, single quotes, the add. Okay. Happening whenever we will click on this link. Okay. What will happen? This URL will be get called. It will come in the urls.py file. It will check for which route we have the name as add. This route. Okay. So I have to call this function add student. So let us write the logic also. So over here it will come. It will check that function add. And what this add function is supposed to do? It is supposed to show a form. Yes. So if it is a get method. Okay, again when we are dealing with the form, there will be a two method, get and a post method. Initially, we want to show what? A form where the person who is using your website will fill the data, and when we click on submit, that data should get saved in the backend. Okay, so that is a logic that we want to write. So let us write the logic over here. Get method. When it is a get method, I just want to show the form, a blank form. And it should call return render add.html. Okay, and form dot what is the object that we have created, fm. Okay, so when it is a get method, this HTML page will get called and it will render this form. So let us create from this update, because it is copy of that only. Okay, or whenever we create a form, it is always in the same manner, add.html. So what will happen? So when it will hit this add.html page, what will happen? It will show the form. Okay, browser validations are off. If there is a non-fill error, show the non-fill errors, then show each and every field of that particular form. And if there is a fill error, show that fill error as well. Okay, so let us see. When I click on add update and I click on add student, it is we can see the form over here. So suppose I write some data over here, Prem Chobe, let me give some phone number, let me select the batch. When I click on submit, what should happen? Again the same URL will get called. See, same URL will get called, but this time the method would be post. So I have to write the logic for the post method as well. So if request.method is post, what? You will get the data of that particular form, check if it is valid or not. If it is valid, we'll save it. I'll explain it, don't worry what I've written. So what I'm saying, if it is a post method, take the data of the form, okay, request.post, and check whether that data is valid. If it is valid, save it in the database and then come back to the home page. So if you click on submit, again the same URL will be click on student, add some new data, click on branch, click on submit. So it is getting added over here. I hope this is clear how it is happening. Now for this add delete button also, let us give the icon. Come over here, write delete, enter. So this trash I will copy. come in the list student where we have created this button, delete button. Over here we have created this button. So before this we want to show the icon. Let us refresh it. Yeah, delete. So let us see, show the delete button as danger, the red color. Okay. Yeah. So view, update and delete. We can see all the three buttons. Okay. So we have seen the CRUD operation over here. Okay. So CRUD operation is basically create, read, update and delete. When we click on add students, it is going to add the data. Okay. When we click on all students, we can see the data, entire data, individual data as well. When we click on update, we are able to update that particular data. When we click on yes, the data will get deleted. If no, that data won't get deleted. Okay. So now we have to write down the logic for the search box. In the search box, what we will do, if somebody is writing something over here, it will see that particular stuff, whether it exists as a first name, last name, email ID, branch. If it exists, it will show that particular data. Okay. So let me come over here, and that search box we have created in the navigation bar. So let us come, this search box is over here. Okay. So whenever we are going to write over here something, it should hit a particular URL. So let me write action. Here I'm writing the action because I want it to go to any URL. Okay. Not the same URL. I want different URL over here. So let me create search student URL. Okay. So I will have to create this URL. Where is a urls.py file? Path. Search. Views. Dot search student. Okay. This will be search student, the name of the function. And this I will give the name as name. Okay. So now I will have to create this function. In the views, let us go down, scroll down and search request. And let us write the logic for that. First we'll check if the request.method, if it is a post method, then what we will do from the data that we are passing. Okay, let us go to this URL. We will have to pass the data also na. So over here, this is an input box. Okay, and this is a button. The input box should have a name. With the help of the name tag, whatever value that input box is having, we can capture it. Okay, so that is why I will give a name tag to this input box. This is nothing but the this is what you must have studied in the HTML as well. In the HTML, whenever we are creating any field, we give the name tag to that particular field. Okay, and with the help of the name tag, we copy the value of that input field. Okay, so the name I have given is output. So I will come over here and I will write, if the method is post, okay, whatever data we are getting, request.post, get the data which is there in the field output, store it. Okay, store it in the variable search. Now since we are doing it for all the fields, we don't see, if you are doing it for the individual field, if you are looking for that particular data only in the F name, then this is valid. But what we want to do, we will get the data and we'll see that data, whether it is first name, last name, email and everything. So let me remove this logic for time being. Let me get all the data from the database. Student, whatever you want to give the variable name, I will take all the data, student dot objects dot on, will get all the data from the database, and then I will write if the data is passed. Okay, then I will filter student dot filter and I will store it in the variable suburb std. If it contains a first name, do this one, or let me use the key parameters because I want to use multiple OR statements. Okay, so Q, I will have to import this Q as well. Okay. Now let me write the logic. If it contains first name, or if it contains F name, if last name contains this, or if email will contains this, or the branch contains this. Okay. So then it should return render search.html, the data that we are getting is in std, else we will show the error. Okay, return http response, we will show the error directly with the help of http response, and error occurred. Okay, this request is giving you the error because over here we have done the mistake. Also the object spelling is wrong, objects. Okay, so now what we are saying, if the method is post, okay, whatever data you are filling in that particular search box, save it in the variable search. Okay, you will fill some data over here which will be passed with the help of the input box which is having the name as output. So get that particular data, save it in the variable search, get all the data from the database and store it in the variable student. The variable name has to be in the lowercase always, student. Okay, so now what we have in the search, we have the data that we have filled with the help of the search box. In student, we have all the data from the database. Now we are checking if the search exists, because it may happen the user may not write over here anything and click on search, then it will not have any data. So if the data exists, then what we are supposed to do, student dot filter means from this object. Okay, this object is having all the data. From that we want only those data where the first name is search, or the last name is equal to search, or the email is equal to given. So over here I paste Priya. Okay, so in the search box we will have Priya. In student we will have all the objects, and it will see if the data exists. Then in this particular student where we have all the data, only those data we want where the first name is equal to search, or the last name is equal to search, or the email is equal to search, or branch is equal to search. If the first name is Priya, get that particular row, or if the last name is Priya, then also we want the data. Okay, if anything matches with this particular thing, we want that data. So whenever we want to apply an AND or in the Django, we make the use of the Q operator, and this is how we write OR. Okay, and I contains means we are making it as case insensitive. Suppose in your backend you have Priya and somebody is writing P in small, then also it will match. So I am making this I contains will make it case insensitive. Okay, so whatever you are passing, it will check whether the first name, last name, email or the branch is equal to that. We will get that particular thing in the output. Okay, so get that particular data, and then data we are passing it what in the search.html. So we'll have to create that. Let us see how to create, but before that, if the data is not there, suppose in the search box you are not having anything, so what will happen? Then st should be equal to null. Yeah, because if the search is not there, this will not this loop will not get executed. If this is not getting executed in this student, the value is what std, but if you have not defined the value, it will throw an error. That is why we are initializing it over here as none. Okay, so now let us go at html. Okay, this http response also we will have to import. So I have imported this http response as well. Okay, now let us create this. So instead of search.html, what we will do, we will call the same liststudent.html, because the format is already the same format we want to use. Only the data has to differ. So the same HTML will be called again, but the data that we are passing is this particular data. So let us see if it is working. Let us refresh. Search student is not a valid function or the pattern name. So let us see. Search student. Okay, in the URL, we are supposed to give the name. By mistake, I have given the function name. Okay, so it should work now. See, let me write CE, click on search. See, over here, let us go for the branch. We are writing the branch also. See, in the URL, can you see? Output is CE. It is get. Come over here, and in the form, we forgot to specify the method. Okay, so the method is what? A post method. So in the navigation bar, write the post. Now let us write Neelam, click on search. CSRF token also we have not written. CSRF token. Okay, and now let us write Neelam, then click on search. Yes, I can get this particular data. We want all the end data wherever the surname is Chaube. So we will get all the data. So this is how the search box is working. Okay. If you have any doubts in this particular project, you can write down in the comment box. I will help you with those doubts, and I will be coming with the next project very soon. Till then, if you are liking this channel, you are liking the projects that I'm bringing, then kindly like and subscribe my channel. Don't. In this project, we have seen the Crud Operations, we have seen how to use the models, how to use a search box, the queue operator, and the filters as well. So now if you, so before we end this lecture, let me quickly summarize what this project was. So first of all, we have created the navigation bar. Because the navigation bar will be same everywhere, we have created the navigation bar in the separate HTML page. Then we have created a base.html. In that we have included our navigation bar. Okay. So whenever somebody is going to click on the root page, what we have said that if somebody is clicking on this particular link, just go to the student manage, open the urls.py file and check what is attached. What is attached? List student. So it will go in the list.py file. Okay. And then it will call this function. This function is doing what? Whatever data is there in your database, it will store it in the variable student, which will pass into the list student.html. Okay, in the form of a dictionary. And this will do what? It will show the entire data that we are passing in the form of the table. This is a key, and we will render each and every value. Okay, so this is how it looks like. When we click on this view, we want to show the model. That is why for this button, we have created a model. And now, when you are creating the model, you will give the ID over here to the model, and for which data, we will specify the ID of the data as well, which is a primary key in our model. Then over here, you can specify the student, the title, whatever you want in the title, and the body. Okay. Then we have the update button. On the update button, what is happening? Again, when we click on this button, see what will happen? It will hit the URL update. So it will hit this particular URL. And for which students we want to update the data, that is why we are passing the ID of that particular data as we are passing the ID of that student over here. So in the URL also we need to accept that ID, and we know the ID will always be an integer field. That is why we have specified. If you don't know, whether it will be a string or a slug or an integer, we can directly write, instead of integer id, we can directly write id. Okay. Now this will call which function? Update data. So this function will be called, it will check if it is a post or a get method. Whenever you hit the URL for the first time, it will be a get method. So it will come over here, it will get from the database, it will get only that data where the ID is what? The given ID. And after it has that particular data, again it will render the form, but this time the form will be the data of this particular student. Okay, it will call update.html file, which is this file, and it will show the form. We are handling the errors as well over here, fill and non-fill errors. And when we click on submit, again the same function will be called because the action is blank. So the same function will be called again, means it will hit the same URL. That URL will call the same function. It will check, yeah, it is a post method. Get that particular row from your database. Take the data from the form. See if it is valid. If it is valid, so store it in that particular row. Okay, same row will get updated and return to the home page. Okay, then we have studied about the delete. When we are clicking on the delete button in the this, what is happening? When we click on the delete button, again the model will pop up, which will ask, are you sure you want to delete? If you click on yes, okay. If you click on no, nothing will happen. If you click on yes, so we are sending with the help of the form, the method will be post. Or also you could have used the anchor tag, but since whenever we do any operations on the database delete operation, we want to show, we want to hide the data. Okay, that is why we are using the form. And here I have to specify the action because I want to hit a new URL over here, and the method would be post. So which URL it will hit? Delete. So this URL will be called, for which data user we want to delete the data, we are passing in the form of ID. Then it will call this function, it will come over here. This function will be called, which will accept the ID, and the method would be post. Then it will get that particular data and delete that data. Okay. Then add student, when we click on this ID, what will happen? This function will be called, URL will call this function again will check. Whenever we'll hit for the first time, it will be a get method, it will render a blank form. Okay, and if it is a post method, it will take the data from the form, check if it is valid. If it is valid, it will save it in the database and will return to the home page. Okay, in the search box we are doing, in the search box, whenever we are clicking, okay, we are again making the use of the font and the action. Now if I will write CE and click on search, okay, you cannot see the data over in the URL. Earlier I was able to see the data in the URL because by mistake I have kept the request as a get. So now if it is a post method, you are not able to see the data. It will hit this URL. This URL will call this function. This function will be called, which will take the data that you have passed, take all the data from the database, check which field in the database have that particular field, whichever row has that particular field, take that entire row, taking the data, and we are passing in the list.student.html, because over here the format of this HTML is similar to what we have done previously. So that is why we are calling the same HTML page. But remember, when we are calling this, we are passing the data in the form of a dictionary, and we always render the key. So the key that you have given over there should be same as here. Value can be anything, but the key has to be same, because if you will see over here, we are missing. Okay, so here you can do this error. So remember this, you don't do this particular error. Okay, I hope you have liked this project, and if you are really liking the projects that I am bringing in, so kindly like and subscribe my channel, and I will be coming with the next project very soon. Subscribers, then only I can continue creating this tutorials on Django project. Thank you. Bye bye.